Alright. This is my first video with a new mic. I hope you guys enjoy it. So, basically, I have to be honest with you guys. I'm gonna retcon a lot of stuff in this series. So, I'm gonna just go through what I'm gonna retcon, alright? First off, Naruto is no longer living with Kakashi. He never lived with Kakashi. We're just getting that out of here. Like, we're just throwing that out. What else am I just retconning? And then Naruto didn't go back to the village after. We'll just start off at the Mizuki incident, alright? Because I'm basically gonna. Because, like, now that I look back at it, I could have done this better. So I basically wrote a whole script. So yeah, I'm just retconning a few stuff. Sorry. Also, I got a Twitter now, which I was basically forced into making. But I have a Twitter now, so if you guys want to, go over there, be alerted when I'm about to make a video or something, I'll write it down on Twitter and be like, hey, I'm gonna make this video. And then you guys can be like, oh, cool, he's gonna make that video. If you want. I don't really, it doesn't affect me too much. But, yeah. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Oh god, why did I say that like I'm gonna end the video? Shut up. Alright, so basically we're starting off right when Mizuki told Naruto, you're the demon fox. Like, And keep in mind, Kakashi was not there to take care of Naruto. Anbu and Joni and stuff, he didn't have the time, or didn't feel he was responsible enough, right? So basically, after that, Naruto, he's hurt because not only did the Hokage not tell him about him being in Uchiha, which he learned himself, he didn't tell him about him being the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki. So, Naruto, he beats Mizuki in the same way I said last time. He makes a bunch of shadow clones and they all do a fireball. Naruto's just been learning through scrolls and stuff like that lately. And then Naruto, he's standing there. Iruka's like, good job, Naruto, he hands him a headband. Naruto takes it, he looks at it for a little bit. And then he pulls out a kunai and, Iruka's confused, and then he scratches out, he scratches a line through the middle of the headband. Iruka's super confused now. He's like, Naruto, that would mean that you're a rogue ninja. You can't just put a line through there. Naruto said, I know, sensei, He's like, the entire village has lied to me my entire life. And everyone here hates me for a reason that I can't control. So I don't belong here. Iruka's like, wait, Naruto, no, you can't leave, He's like, what about all the people that care about you? He's like, you mean all the 4 people? You, the ramen guy, his daughter, and the Hokage? He's like, that's a few, yes, but that's still some people. He's like, Iruka, it's over. I'm leaving, He starts walking off. Iruka can't really do too much because he was already hurt by the gigantic ass shuriken in his back. So he can't even chase after Naruto. So yeah, Naruto, he's off. He's gone, right? We'll follow. My nose is full and I can't fucking deal with it, right? So basically now, we'll follow the story of Iruka for a little bit. So Iruka, he's, in the hospital, he's, talking to the Anbu who are like, do you know which way he went, yada yada yada, because he already explained that Naruto is planning on leaving the village. So, he told them what direction that he thought he went, all that stuff. And then the Hokage walks in, he's like, I lost, I can't see him in my crystal ball. That means that he's really fucking far. So they're like, yeah, don't check any of the closer areas, because, he can't be within there. And basically they're like, alright, they all head out to look for Naruto, but Naruto he dipped, dip. Because remember, he has the Nine Tails, and he's, Uzumaki plus that Uchiha in him. So he just dipped out of there, and we'll say that it was raiding, so they can't even use the Inuzukas to find his scent. It sucks, right? It's just sucking for the Hokage right now. The Hokage is like, what did Naruto say? You know, Iruka explains that Naruto said something strange. He said the village lied to him about 2 things in his life now. You know, at first Hiruzen was kind of confused, then he thought about it a little bit more. Then he realized that he was talking about his Uchiha heritage, which means, you know, which Hiruzen says that means that he's most likely unlocked the Sharingan. Because, you know, how else would he know that he's an Uchiha? Other than the fact that I'm retconning this as well. He has black hair, yeah. It didn't really make sense for him to have red hair because Uchiha genes are dominant. So yeah, Naruto, we'll follow Naruto again. Naruto is walking, you know, he enters a small time village. Also, one thing, he kept the scroll of ceiling. Yeah, he's like, I need that. I'm gonna need that off you know. So he kept it. Basically, he's not gonna like give it to another village or anything like that. He's just gonna use it to learn shit. So Naruto, he's just been learning and reading from the scroll on his way. He's been learning a lot more jutsu. He learned the water dragon, just basically like a bunch of high rank jutsu. I'll explain them all later. While Naruto's walking on his way, he's just like, I mean, if they see me, then I'm screwed. So, plus, I'm pretty easy to figure out since I have whisker marks on my face. So, basically, he goes over, he finds this, like, shop where they're selling masks. He sees a fox mask, and he'd be like, the irony would, like, you know, would be pretty good. So he takes it, and, you know, he starts walking off. He didn't pay, he just fucking grabbed it and walked off. Which the shop owner was about to say something, but Naruto just, freaking body flickered away, or shun shipped away. So, yeah, if you're wondering how Naruto knows that, he reads in this. So Naruto has just been going from, like, small-time village to small-time village, just learning and stuff, reading through the scrolls. And one time he enters a very interesting village. He enters this village and he goes through their library and he sees the symbol that's always on his back, you know. He goes, he checks out like the book that has that symbol. And if you're wondering how Naruto has survived for about a month, and I will say, he's just been freaking, what's it called? He's just been hunting and stuff like that. He's just been eating all the animals, you know. He still hasn't talked to the Nine Tails yet, if that's what you're wondering. But basically, he sees something about the crest on his back, which he doesn't have the Uchiha crest, because nobody knew he was an Uchiha. Because, you know, they didn't want the Uchiha clan to have a Nine Tails on their side. So basically, he reads it. It's something about the Uzumaki clan. And he's like, clan? We were a clan, you know? He reads about how they had a village and all this stuff, and it was destroyed by 4 great nations. The sand, the cloud, the mist, and the rock. I'm pretty sure this would be it. Basically, Naruto's surprised because that means that all of them had to team up just to take down one clan, which he's wondering why Konoha didn't help them at all. But you know, he goes and you know he sees that like it has a location where the Uzumaki clan used to be. And yes, he's gonna head straight there. It's his birthright after all. So he heads over there. He's hoping that he'll find, you know, some people, or at least some people like scavenging who might be Uzumaki like him. So he's like, alright, you know, he's just walking around. He isn't really finding anything. And then he finally, like, he hits something, right? And he's like, god damn, that freaking hurt. You know, he looks down and he sees this whole gigantic ass seal, but like it's going, and like he looks to his right, it's still going, and he looks to his left and it's still going. So he's like, what the hell? So he puts his arm on the barrier basically, and then starts walking along to the right. You know, he's basically walking along trying to find some sort of entrance. You know, we'll say that it's been about a day now. Naruto's walked around this whole thing, and he's like, oh, I'm not finding anything. So basically, he's like, there's probably a way into this. So, you know, Naruto, being the way he is, at first he tries brute strength. So he pulls out a kunai and is like, alright, let's do this. And, you know, he stabs it straight into the barrier, and the kunai goes straight through, but his hand just stops. He's like, alright, what now? You know, he's thinking, maybe if I like spike my chakra, you know, so he puts his he puts his hand on the barrier and starts powering up his chakra. And like the barrier's starting to ripple a little bit, which means that, you know, it might open. He doesn't know. Basically, he sends his chakra into the barrier now because spiking it isn't really working. And then after that, since he put his chakra in there and it sensed Uzumaki genes, basically the barrier opened up for him. And he's like, oh, shoot, that was easy. You know, he walks in, and it is ruins. Ruins after ruins after ruins. It's like, how the hell is it ruins or that strong ass barrier was there? Which the barrier there was put there afterwards. So Naruto's like, alright, I need to look around this area. So, you know, Naruto's already figured out the whole shadow clone thing because he read through the entire scroll at this point, which he has it wrapped around his back. So he does, you know, he's like, Kage Boshin no Jutsu. Jesus. Maybe I should not say that. But, you know, he makes a bunch of clones. They all go different directions. And they're all just, like, scouting out the area. Naruto's sitting down because he's been walking around for a whole day. You know, he's pretty tired. Basically, the clones poof, and then he gets all the information. He's like, there's a bunker about that way. I'll go check that out. He gets up and he starts walking over. And he finds this bunker area. And he's like, alright, let's see. There's a lock on it. Like a basic lock, not a freaking seal, which confuses Naruto. So he tries to forcibly open it again. Then he gets blown back by... wind. He's like, what the hell? He gets back up. And he looks, and a bunch of seals just start appearing on the barrier. Not the barrier, the bunker. He's like, oh. What's this place of seals? And keep in mind, Naruto did learn a little bit about seals from like the scrolls that he read and the scroll of sealing. He did learn some seals, which he did learn everything off the scroll of sealing. He just doesn't know how to do certain stuff, but he knows like basics of it. So Naruto, now he's like trying to decipher this, like, you know, the seal, which isn't working because it's very complex. But what he gets out of it, he's like basically only, you know, royal-blooded Uzumaki or whatever the hell they call it, like main branch-blooded Uzumaki can enter if they use their chakra. He's like, the chances of me being a main house Uzumaki are hella low, but I'ma see. So he puts his hand on the barrier again, or not the barrier, the bunker again. Spikes his chakra and then enters it into the, you know, the bunker, and it opens. He's like, holy shit, I'm royalty. He's like, huh, so I'm the heir to the Uzumaki clan. I mean, that's pretty cool. Which he is kinda, he's like, I'm pretty sure he's like a distant cousin to Tsunade in a way. Since, you know, Tsunade's mom or grandmother was an Uzumaki. And also the head of the Uzumaki. So technically, Tsunade would be first pick, but Naruto's like second now, since, you know, he's like one of the only Uzumaki. So he goes down there and, you know, he finds a big ass library. Like, he finds a massive library. And he's like, holy shit. So basically, he looks, he sees ninjutsu, genjutsu, fuinjutsu, which is, the fuinjutsu one is like way bigger than all of them. he sees the taijutsu and the kenjutsu ones, which they're averagely sized. They're like the ninjutsu and genjutsu size. They're all that. But the fuinjutsu one, which is sealing and stuff like that, is massive. Like, way more massive than the other ones. So, Naruto, he's like, alright. You know, he makes a bunch of shadow clones. He's like, activate your Sharingan when you get to a book, start reading, and then slowly poof one by one, because I don't want all that information at one time. So, you know, the shadow clones are like, yes sir! You know, they all start, you know, going through the big ass library and start reading and reading. You know, one poofs and it catches Naruto's attention. It's like, huh, that could be useful. So basically, now that he has the information on this, he's gonna start trying to learn about, you know, he sees that since Uzumaki's mainly looked for Fuinjutsu, he realizes maybe I should try to learn that and, you know, try to perfect my own form of Fuinjutsu, which, you know, is a pretty good idea. Jeez, my freaking PS4 alarm. So after that, Naruto is like, he's looking around, and he starts reading books of himself, as well as while Shadow Clones are reading, and he comes across this book called Uzumaki Clan Kekkei Genkai. And if you don't know what a Kekkei Genkai is, I could explain it, but I'll explain it later. Naruto's like, Uzumaki Clan Kekkei Genkai. I mean, if it's the Sharingan, then shit, maybe I was wrong. But no, of course it's not. It's the chakra chains. You already know how it is. The mighty chakra chains. So Naruto's like, I wonder if I have access to this since I'm only half, you know, Uzumaki. Which, God, I need to blow my nose. I might pause the recording just to blow my fucking nose. Now I feel much better. Alright, gosh, that's so much better. Jesus. Alright, so basically, now Naruto, he's basically, what was I saying? Yes, he said the chakra chains. Now he's reading through it, and it does say that they're not sure if half Uzumakis can get it. It's very rare for them to get it, but if they do get it, it'll be pretty freaking powerful, depending on what clan it's from, what other clan they're from, or if they're just like a plain old freaking, you know, civilian, half civilian, then, you know, it probably won't be that strong. So, you know, he basically is reading through it, and they do have like some like descriptions of what the chakra chains are, and he's like, so like a goldish reddish chain that, you know, have the power to like, you know, have the power to bring down a tailed beast. That seems useful. So, you know, he starts trying to do it. Basically, he starts training on it. He has Shadow Clone still reading through the entire freaking library, but, you know, he's still like training on it himself because he thinks that he and maybe, I don't know, 2 other Shadow Clones should try to learn it. And then if he can do it, then he'll train on it more. If he can't, then he won't, you know, cry about what he doesn't have. And then we'll time skip about a week. The clones have just about read through all the ninjutsu, genjutsu, kenjutsu, and taijutsu books. So Naruto learned a lot about those. And they're still reading through the fuinjutsu. So Naruto's still in the village until, you know, he thinks that that's enough. Naruto did in fact pop out a chain, though he thought it was very strange. He's like, I mean, this looks cool, but I don't remember the chains being like this black color, you know? It's like this dark freaking shadow with this weird ominous aura coming off it. So he basically has black chakra change. Chakra change? Chakra change? I can't believe it. I said chakra change. Yeah, so he's so he's black chakra chains. Basically, since he has black chakra chains, God, can I fucking talk about black chakra chains? That's a tongue twister. So, what was I gonna say? Let me think for a second. yeah, Naruto basically started to learn about how to use the chakra steel chains, and he realizes like, yeah, they can pop out of the ground, but he can also like let them out from his hands and his back. Like he can basically let the chains out from anywhere he wants. So he's like, maybe I could learn how to use them in a more combat-based way. And if I could learn how to use them for a more combat-based way, then it could be really useful. Sorry for pausing it again, I had to do something. Alright, so basically, now that he's gotten the chakra chains, and he knows, like, that they can pop out of anywhere, he's like, alright, so first, I'll learn how to use them, and then I'll try to add them into, like, a fighting style, which he has learned a few he has seen. With Uzumaki's had a wide range of fighting styles, including the Senju style, since, you know, Hashirama was married to Uzumaki. I mean, it would kind of be weird if he didn't know it. As well as the Uzumaki style, of course. They also had a few other taijutsu styles, including the basic Konoha, they had basic versions of every village's fighting style back in the time. So he's like, alright, I can use these to incorporate into my own fighting style. So basically he's making his own fighting style, which can and will incorporate the chains. As well as he does get some information out of different areas of the village. Like, he does find different areas where it does tell him, like, hey, you know, we know about different clans as well, and here are some of their secrets. So, you know, he does learn about the Hyugas and their, like, you know, and their weak spot, since, of course, some Uzumaki probably found out about it back in the day, and probably would use it to their advantage. And then, while he's reading that, he sees like a whole section. He sees like whole sections on different clans. Like he sees one about the Uchiha, one about the Inuzuka. You know, because they kept tabs on every clan. Of course, they're gonna do that. They're a clan. They need to know who's threats and who's not. Basically, they know about the Uchiha's eyes. They know how far they go. And Naruto here does learn about the Mangekyo. He's like, what the hell is the Mangekyo? And it explains that to obtain the Mangekyo, you need to see a loved one die or kill a loved one. And Naruto's like, I mean, I don't really have too many loved ones, but I wouldn't kill them. And then, what's it called? It does tell him that there are other dangerous ways to unlock it, which basically by telling him that I'm asking you guys, what is a dangerous way that you want Naruto to maybe unlock the Mangekyo? Which it wouldn't be anytime soon, but also I figured out what Naruto's Mangekyo ability will be. A few people said that it should be all of them, which my issue with that is that's not how the Sharingan works. It needs to be something that's somehow related to Obito in a way. That was Discord acting. Basically, it needs to be something that's somehow related to Obito. So, if you could do that, that'd be great. If not, it's fine. But, yeah. Basically, that's all I'm asking. If you have a way to do it to where... Actually, I'll think up a way. It's fine. Never mind. I'll think up a way. It's cool. Now, this video is about 23 minutes, so I can go on a little bit longer. Naruto is basically getting all the information he can out of the village, and we'll time skip maybe a few months now, so the shooting exams is about to happen. And Naruto's like, Naruto basically, he's just thinking, so now that I've gained like all the knowledge I can out of this village, what should I do with it? He's like, I mean, I don't want other people who don't belong here to, get in. So he's like, best idea. He's like, if I can't be the Hokage, then maybe I can rule this village. He's like, I mean, it'll be difficult to build up a destroyed village from the ground back up, but it could work. He's like, plus I do still plan on exploring. I could just use shadow clones. because Naruto still wants to explore the ninja world so that he can learn more about it. He doesn't want to just be held in one area. That is one thing that he learned about the Uzumaki. They were very powerful, but they held themselves only in the Uzumaki, village, which made them a prime target for capture and destroy. Which I'm surprised they didn't keep Uzumaki. I'm surprised that none of the villagers thought maybe we should keep a few Uzumaki civilians, since their chakra levels are probably Chunin level. Even the civilians had Chunin level chakra, and even the Chunins had Kage level chakra. So if you think about it, it would have been pretty smart to keep some Uzumaki. So he's like, I could just make this my own village. So he's like, it'll take some renovation time, which he has, renovated a few places, but he does realize, hey, this will take some time. So he's just looking around the village, and he does find the ninja area, because of course they have their own ninja. He finds a few things that would be useful. He finds some kunai. God, voice guys. He finds some kunai. He finds, shurikens, all that stuff. He also finds a chakra paper, which, he did read about, and he didn't find one before. So he's like, oh, cool. He starts checking what, his possible chakra natures. Jesus, English is a hard language, guys. He learns about his chakra natures, and he realizes, hey, I have 4 of them. Shoot. He has wind, earth, water, and fire. Alright, that's what I'm gonna give him. I don't wanna give him everything, but I don't wanna, just hold him back a lot. So he's like, with earth, I could probably fix a lot of the landscapes. With water, I could, move all the water from one area to another. Just getting the water into a lake area to where we could have a water reservoir. So, alright, let's do this then. He makes a bunch of shadow clones. And then he's like, maybe I should get out of the village since, it wouldn't look suspicious if the village started changing. So he basically walks out, and he realizes the barrier basically covers the old village. He's like, huh. Which he has learned basically the ins and outs of sealing jutsus, which, keep in mind, he did have the scroll of sealing, so he does know a certain jutsu, but he just needs to make his own seal for it, which he has been in the making for a while now. He's like, alright, then I guess I'll go around and look. He puts on a cloak, he puts on his, flax mask, and then starts walking around. We'll say that he eventually, since the tuning exams are about to start, he runs into 3 people on the way to, the tuning exams. Naruto looks at him, he's like, sand ninja, huh? Oh, that's pretty interesting. Which he doesn't wear. He wears the Konoha headband underneath his mask, so they don't really realize he's a missing nin. Which he sees that, Gaara, there's something off about him. And at this moment, for the first time in months, the Kyuubi's finally been, pulled him in. And Naruto's like, what the hell, where am I? Which we'll say that time goes slower in here, of course. So Naruto, he walks in, he sees this big ass cage, and he's like, what the hell? And, he does, recognize that this is a type of seal. He's like, this is super complex. I think I read about this one. He's really just basking at the amazingness that is his seal. While he's basking at the glory that is the seal on his stomach, he doesn't really realize it's still on his the seal on his stomach yet. But he sees these glowing red eyes that are slit, look at him. And Naruto's like, oh, it's you. The Kyuubi's surprised that he wasn't screaming out or scared. He was just like, oh, it's you. Basically, the Kyuubi's like, brat. He's like, I don't usually warn, my Jinchuriki of things that are dangerous or anything like that, or especially when there's another Jinchuriki around. But he does, tell Naruto that, hey, that red-haired kid is the Jinchuriki of the One Tails. He's like, oh, isn't he like the weakest? He's like, yes, but don't doubt the strength of Tail Beast. You're pretty powerful, you could probably hold him back with your chakra chains. He's like, oh, so you've been watching me. He's like, don't get an idea. Uchiha, He's like, oh, what, do you hate me because I'm an Uchiha or something? He's like, yeah, I have a few issues. Naruto does realize what he read about in books, and he's like, oh yeah, so far it seems like the Uchiha basically just been controlling you. Which, Naruto does says, I'm sorry about that, but I mean, like, why don't we restart? Like, why don't you let me be the first cool Uchiha that you meet? I mean, I am probably the best one in, like, feeling when it comes to this stuff. Which, God, Discord is being a bastard right now. Yeah. So let's hope that Discord doesn't, make any more noises. Speaking of Discord, you should join my Discord. Yeah. Now that I'm done selling out. He does tell Naruto, like, hey, that's the One-Tail Shukaku, alright? And Naruto does talk to him a little bit about, like, hey, why don't we, make, like, a peace treaty to where, like, I'm cool if you're cool, and you're cool if I'm cool. He's like, what would, like, a peace treaty we both benefit, like, what would I get out of this? He's like, since I'm kind of a master of seals now, he's like, I mean, fair point. He's like, I could change this area to where it's not just, a damp, nasty, ugly sewer, And, Naruto's like, if you're mine, you can do that whenever. He's like, yeah, but I could make it to where you're not just stuck in a cage around a nice place. I can make it to where you just have maybe a collar. That means you can't attack me. He's like, a collar? Fine. Because, the Kyuubi wants to stretch his legs. So Naruto, he changes up his mind and escape, makes it a beautiful, beautiful place. A place that, I'm envious of, hell. But, it's very beautiful. Naruto is pretty shocked that Naruto could think of a place like this. But, Naruto's just built different, I guess. So, God. I feel my voice is ass right now. So, since Naruto basically made this whole area for the Kyuubi's like, alright, I'll help you out from time to time, but don't expect my chakra. I'll just tell you what to do and most tell you a few things that most people and probably nobody knows other than me and the other tailed beasts. So, Naruto's thankful that he has this information. He's like, thank you, Kyuubi. He's like, now I'll go check on those guys, He gets out of his mindscape, he jumps down in front of them. Basically, these guys are kind of confused, which Naruto's like, fuck it. So he looks at them, and he has his 3-to-1 Sharingan active. But, like, remember, he has a mask on. They're like, who the hell are you? Tamari, being the smart one, she looks at his eyes, she's like, oh, he's an Uchiha, what the hell? He's like, are you like a Konoha nin? And, she realizes, wait, the whole Uchiha got massacred, like, a few, decades ago, or a few years ago. So he's like, yes, I am an Uchiha, but not of Konoha. And, they're like, then what the hell do you want from us? He's like, I just wanted to meet the One-Tail Shukaku. Which, it does stun them, because he knows that Gaara is a One-Tailed Jinchuriki. But, he doesn't question it too much. They don't question it too... I mean, they do question it hella. I'm not gonna lie. They question it hella. They're like, how the hell do you know that he's the One-Tails? He's like, can I see your seal? Gaara's like, mother wants your blood. He's fucking crazy. He's like, mother wants your blood. And, that basically explained Naruto's, I guess. He's like, he looks over to Tamari since Kakuro is basically, like, shit scared of the Uchiha. He's like, where's the seal at? Tamari's like, why should I tell you? His eyes, the Tomoe starts spinning in his eyes. It's like, you'll probably want to tell me. So, she basically is like, fine, it's like, we'll say it's like, you know where Sasuke got his curse from? We'll say it's around there, since I don't know where the hell where Gaara's seal is. So Naruto's like, alright, then, he basically like, appears behind, Gaara, which Gaara didn't see coming, He does a few hand signs, and, Temari thinks he's about to do something to attack Gaara, so he's waiting for Gaara to kill this guy. So, since Naruto doesn't really have any ill will behind this, the sand barrier doesn't come up, which confuses Gaara to an extreme extent, and confuses everyone actually who's there except for Naruto, because he doesn't know about the sand barrier. He basically, he slams his hand into Gaara's, neck area, which right after he does that, Gaara falls to his knees. He's like, that should help you out. Tamari's confused on what the hell Naruto did, so she's like, what the hell did you do to him? Yada yada. She's like, and he looks over to her, he's like, I sealed the Shukaku better since your clan, since your village is honestly shit with seals from what I can see. She's like, how do we know that you don't have it as like a ticking time bomb or something? He's like, you'll just have to see them, Which Gaara wakes up, because of course having the Beidru sealed more will kind of knock him out. So now Gaara's looking around, he's like, yeah. And he's like, my freaking shoulder area is killing me, he looks around, he's like, I don't hear it. Tamari's like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't hear it yelling anymore. It's quiet. And Naruto says, Naruto basically walks over to Gaara, he's like, it's okay now. It won't affect you anymore, so you can sleep. Because, Gaara hasn't slept in fucking years, which, I don't know, probably the freaking Shukaku was keeping him alive. But that's actually freaking bad for your health, man. You guys need to sleep, alright? Sleeping is important. But basically, Gaara's like, he's like, he doesn't have any words. He's just like, he wants to say thank you. He's like, really? He's confused. He doesn't know what's going on. He's like, Naruto's like, it's okay, just sleep. So, Naruto, basically Gaara falls asleep. Naruto looks over to Temari, and, Temari's like, did he really help him? He's like, of course, that's just what I do. Kankuro is like, Kankuro goes over to Gaara and basically puts him on his back. Like, he moves the puppet kind of to the right, he puts him on his back. And Temari's like, we appreciate this. He's like, hopefully I see you around. He hops away. Temari's like, whatever that was. So, they do get to the village. They do actually ask to meet the Hokage just so they can ask if they know about, that Uchiha. Which, the Hokage basically realized that in Uchiha with a fox mask, who's good at sealing, he's like, that kind of could match the description of Naruto, unless there's a third Uchiha out there. He's like, Itachi wouldn't do it, he's out, spying on the Akatsuki for him. And Sasuke wouldn't help anyone for free. And also Sasuke's dog shit compared to Naruto and seals and everything in general. So, he's basically, now Naruto's hopping around and he does see other ninja, which, give me 1 second while I search up a few names. Alright, I got the names that I was looking for. Basically, Naruto, he's hopping from tree to tree, and then he sees other ninja heading in the direction of Konoha, which, he's like, who are those guys? So, he sits on the tree, he realizes that Cloud Ninja, he hears chuckling in the back of his head, he's like, what the hell? Kurama is like, he doesn't know it's Kurama, but he's like, it's me, and that's another tailed beast, well, 2 actually. Naruto's confused, like, 2 tailed beasts in one area? What do you mean? Like, which ones are they? He's like, the one with blonde hair has the 2 tails. The weird guy who seems to be doing some dance is the 8 tails. So Naruto's like, alright then, I guess I'll go check on them too. So Naruto jumps down, you know, he jumps down, lands in front of them like he did for the Sand Ninja. You know, he looks over. He does have his 3 tomo, which he does realize like a few of these guys will probably put up a pretty good fight against him. But he is a seal master, so if the 2 Jinchurikis came at him, he could probably take care of them with relative ease. You know, freaking the girl with blonde hair, and there's 2 girls with blonde hair actually. She's like, who the hell are you? You know, and Naruto is like, isn't it common decency for you to introduce your name first? She's like, my name's Yuji Tondi. And then he looks over to the other 2 that seem about his age, maybe a bit older. And then the other person's like, my name's Amoy. And the other person says, my name's Samoi. And he was like, alright, and who's the weirdo in the background? He's like, my name's Killer B, yo, yeah. That was awful. He's like, sting like a butterfly, sting like a butterfly, fuck! Fast like a butterfly, sting like a bee, my name's Killer B, yeah! That was god awful. I regret life. I regret this immediately. Naruto sweat drops at this. He's like, oh, okay, you know. He's like, alright. He's like, where are you all heading? In one direction. And they're like, we're going to the Chunin exams. I'm like, oh, so that's what's happening. Because, you know, I don't remember if I said that he asked them why they're going to Konoha, the Sand Ninja. But he's like, yeah, I saw some Sand Ninja ahead of you guys, so they're probably heading there too. And, you know, basically, you know, Yujito is like, so now who are you? He's like, I could drop like clues. And, you know, Yujito is annoyed because she just said her name, which he basically tricked her into. He's like, of the 9, I'm the strongest and most powerful. You know, he taps on his mask, on the nose of his mask, and he's like, this should give you a clue. Which Yujito, she's confused, which, you know, Killer Bee caught on to, of the 9, I'm the strongest. And then he points at a mask of a fox. He's like, so you're the 9 tails, hey? You know, that's what B says. He said it seriously, since this is kind of fucking dangerous for the 9 tails Jinchuriki to be right in front of them. Because, you know, depending on his level of friendship with the 9 tails, they could either get folded like an omelet or just kidnap him for the cloud. Which, you know, B isn't really a fan of either idea. So he's just like, so what you here for? He's like, I just came here to meet the other 2. You know, he looks over at Yujito, the 2. You know, he said, I came over here to meet 2. And, you know, he looks at Killer Bee and 8. Which, you know, Killer Bee nods his head. He's like, alright, you know. But Yujito's still confused. Samoi and Omoi are also confused because they don't know. They know that Killer Bee is the 8 tails. So they realize what they said about B. And then they look over at Yujito and they're like, 2. She's like, I'll explain it later. Which she is a bit pissed off because she didn't tell them that she was, you know, the 2 tails Jinchuriki. Because, you know, the village kind of hates the Jinchuriki. They hate the 2 tails one. They don't actually hate 8, which is weird. Basically because they think of him as a hero. Well, they don't know much about Yujito, so they don't like her. He's like, either way, you're about to head in the wrong direction. They're, you know, we'll say that they're at a split path. He's like, Konoha's that way. And, you know, they're like, how do you know that? He's like, I am the 9, so you can probably guess what village I'm from, or was from. You know, basically they're like, was? Naruto's like, it's not important. So after that, Naruto, he just body flickers off, which, they're just like, alright, that was a strange interaction, but we should probably head off before we're late. Naruto's like, it seems like there's gonna be a lot of commotion at the Leaf this time, so I should probably check it out. Because as much as he doesn't, like the villagers, he loves the Leaf itself, but he doesn't like the villagers. So, yeah, that's weird logic, which, if you've heard it before, some other what ifs do that, which is what I'm gonna do. So Naruto, he's just waiting. He's like on top of the gate at this point, because he's fast as hell. Also, he has a few things that, he knows how to do. He's like, alright. He puts down a kunai on top of the gate. He's like, this will save me a lot of time in the future. After that, he starts, he just jumps down and starts looking around. And if you're wondering why the barrier didn't activate, Hiruzen never really thought that Naruto would come back, especially since none of the Anbu could find him. So he never really took the time out of the day to take Naruto out of, like, the safety seal. So Naruto can just enter and go as he wishes. So Naruto, he's walking around, plus he can also pass through seals, even if it was a seal there. He's a master sealsman, so I doubt that any seal that they have could compete against him. He's like, so if I'm an Uzumaki, I need to learn about who the hell my relatives are and what the hell I can learn. He's like, I can't freaking just get Hiruzen and, try to interrogate him on it. He'd most likely know, but I have to find a way to get the information out of him. So basically, he knows that since Hiruzen is in the Chunin exams, right now, he'll, be pretty distracted, and since Naruto knows this village like the back of his hand, he sneaks into the Hokage's office. And, he's like, alright. He starts going through scrolls and stuff like that, which there's nobody in there. So he starts checking through stuff. And then he hears a knock at the door. He's like, oh shit. So, he hides underneath the table. He's like, oh god. And he hears the voice of an old man. He's like, yo, Sensei, are you in here? He's like, Sensei. He realized that most likely this is the Sannin Jiraiya. He's like, I'm wondering where Naruto is. I need to, find him so I can train him. Naruto is confused. He's like, so he doesn't know that I'm gone yet. He's like, seems like Sensei's not in there. So Naruto's like, I could use this. He's wondering why the Sannin Jiraiya wants to train him, which would say that, Hiruzen didn't tell Jiraiya yet that Naruto left the village. So Naruto, he's like, I can use this to my advantage. He doesn't know that I'm gone. So basically Naruto takes off the cloak, he puts it in a seal, he takes off the mask, he puts it in a seal, and he basically puts a genjutsu around his face to where nobody really recognizes it. He walks out of the office, he's like, you said you were looking for me? Which, it's basically a genjutsu to where only Jiraiya sees like his normal face, but everyone else sees the genjutsu. And the reason why Jiraiya doesn't see through this genjutsu is because it's Naruto's normal face. For him, there's no genjutsu. For everybody else, there is a genjutsu. So he's like, oh, you're Naruto? He's like, yeah, Naruto Uzumaki. He's like, I'm actually here to train you, kid. Which, Naruto's like, okay, sir. He acts all nervous, but Naruto's really, wondering why a Sannin wants to train him. He's like, so, why do you want to train me? And who are you exactly? Because, of course, he recognized Jiraiya. He's read through books like a madman. He's like, Jiraiya does some weird fucking dance. He's like, I am, the greatest pervert of all. The legendary Sannin, the Toad Sage, Jiraiya, Naruto looks at him like he's stupid. He's like, okay. So basically, he's like, so where will we go to train? He's like, what is your training ground? Naruto, he's like, my team is kind of using it right now, so I can't really use my own training ground. So, basically Jiraiya's like, that's fine, and, we'll just go over and, use it ourselves. We'll go over and use one that I used to use. So basically, they go over to where Jiraiya used to train. There's nobody there, because, it's the Sani's old training ground, respect to it. He's like, so, what do you know, kid? He's like, I know a lot of stuff. I mean, I pretty much know a lot. He's like, do you know about, walking on water? Naruto's thinking in his head, that's the basics of chakra control, He's like, yes sir, I do. You're like, huh, that's pretty good for, someone your age. Naruto, he's thinking in his head, that is? Like, really? Konoha is this bad? Like, he's thinking that in his head. Well, Jiraiya's like, well, I'll teach you the summoning. Naruto says, I already have a summoning, which, throws Jiraiya off. He's like, you do? I mean, the Toad summoning is one of the most powerful ones. He's like, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the one I have. Which, I'll tell you guys what summoning he has right now. This is an homage to my top what if, alright? To my most popular what if. And actually, I'll just keep it on that. So if you guys realize it, then, yeah. It's pretty easy to figure out after that hint. It's legit, what it is. So, Jiraiya's like, alright, you already have the summoning jutsu. He's like, then I'll teach you the Rasengan. So, Naruto's like, I appreciate it, sir. Which, Jiraiya's like, it's alright, you can just call me Jiraiya. He doesn't like the formalities, especially since Naruto is his godson. So, he's training with Naruto, and then he tells Naruto, alright, this is, we'll time skip a little bit to after the final exercise. He's like, alright, the tuning exams are about tomorrow, and this is the final exercise. I haven't even been able to talk to Hiruzen yet since he's been so busy, so... Which he hasn't actually been that busy. Naruto's just been stalling, Jiraiya so that he wouldn't meet with Hiruzen and be like, I'm training Naruto. So, he's basically like, alright, so, how do I do this? He's like, remember, focus your chakra, all that stuff. So, Naruto does it, he does the Rasengan. Naruto's like, whoa. He's like, this is pretty cool. He's like, now, slam it into that tree. Naruto does so.
Power off.
Jeez. Let's see what Naruto does so. He slams it into the He slams it into the tree. The tree explodes off of its hinges and gets sent flying, which Jiraiya's like, oof. That's pretty fucking strong. He's like, that's pretty strong for your first, real Rasengan. Because Naruto has me the small ones. He's like, that's pretty strong for your first real Rasengan. English is a hard language for your first real Rasengan. He's like, if you, do you know your chakra matrix? And Naruto's like, he nods his head. He's like, can you tell them to me? Naruto's like, earth, fire, water, and wind. Jiraiya's pretty surprised that he has all those. So he's like, I could probably teach you a few more other jutsu that I have. So he does teach Naruto about the toad oil jutsus. He does teach Naruto about the hair type jutsu that he has. I forgot what it does, but basically to where he can manipulate his own hair. Because I'll say since Naruto hasn't been in the village, his hair is relatively long. And since he's Uchiha, it's pretty freaking spiky. Not like Madara long, but probably goes to halfway to the back. So he's like, you should probably put that in a ponytail. Like you? That's what Naruto asked. He's like, yeah, I mean, you could put it like me. So, he puts it into a ponytail. He's like, alright, well, now that you have your hair the way you want, you could probably do, the type of jutsu that I do. So, Naruto trains, he does, I forgot what it was called, but just the Jiraiya hair jutsu, that's what I'll call it until I figure it out. So he does learn all that. It's the final day, it's like an hour left before the tuning exams. And Jiraiya's like, alright kid, good luck out there. Naruto's like, thanks. Jiraiya jumps off to head to the Hokage's office to tell him what he did. And Naruto just bolts. And he puts on his whole disguise and stuff like that. And then, he goes, and then, now we'll follow Jiraiya because it's going to be funny as hell. Jiraiya knocks on the door. He's like, then Hiruzen's like, come in. Jiraiya's like, hey sensei, how's it going? He sees that Jiraiya's in a pretty good mood. He's like, oh Jiraiya, I thought you would be here earlier. He's like, I was here earlier, but you weren't in the office. Hiruzen's like, oh, my bad, He's like, I'm guessing that you didn't find Naruto. He's ready to tell Jiraiya that Naruto isn't in the village. And then Jiraiya's like, no, actually, I've been training him. He's like, Hiruzen just like spits out his fucking smoke pipe that he was smoking. He's like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, I was training him this whole time. Like right outside of here. And, he's like, no, wait, Jiraiya, I need you to be real with me. What did he look like? He's like, he had black hair, probably around halfway down his back. Of course, like, that's Naruto. He's like, yeah, that is Naruto. He's like, the whisker marks? He's like, yeah, those look like. He's like, and you're sure this wasn't no, transformation jutsu? He's like, I would see through a transformation jutsu. And, he's like, Sensei, what are you telling me? What aren't you telling me? He's like, Jiraiya, Naruto left the village about a few months ago. Jiraiya's like, wait, what? He's like, Hokage, this isn't a funny joke. I legit just saw him, 10 minutes ago. He's like, which direction did he go in? He's like, I didn't see he did a body flicker. He's like, and you didn't think it was suspicious that a Genin could do the body flicker? He's like, I mean, he knew a lot of stuff. He knew how to water walk. He also seemed to know a little bit about sealing jutsus. Hiruzen's like, what the hell has Naruto been up to? That's what he's been thinking. So he's like, wait, are you being serious? He's like, Naruto is considered a missing nin. He shows him in the bingo book, because, Naruto is in the bingo book since he's a missing nin. Jiraiya's like, dude, wait, he's thinking about it. He's like, it is weird that he was the only one in the Hokage's office room. He's like, he probably came in here in order to get some sort of information or some scrolls. He checks where the scroll of ceiling usually is, and he sees that it's back, and it has a note inside. Here's a note. It's like, hey Hokage, I'm still pretty mad that you hid all those things from me, especially my heritage about being Uchiha, which he doesn't know who his parents are, of course. But he's like, I'm still mad at you for hiding all that from me. But I've moved past the anger part, and now I'm kind of accepting it that you had to hide it, but I still don't forgive you for that. He's like, and also tell Jiraiya that I'm sorry for tricking him. He was an amazing sensei, Jiraiya's like, did I just get tricked by a 13-year-old? Jiraiya, basically after that, Hiruzen's like, we both got tricked by a 13-year-old. He's like, yeah, you're just getting senile, but I'm a legendary Sanin, and I got tricked. I'm supposed to have a whole spy network, and I got tricked. Which, he is like, yeah, that is pretty bad, actually. Jiraiya's like, you're not helping. Which, at this point, Naruto is just walking around the village. He's like, he goes over to the ramen shop, of course. He's like, can I get one bowl of miso ramen? And then they're like, of course. While he's at the ramen shop, 6 people walk in at the same time, Basically, Naruto is in a disguise. And basically, at the same time, all of them say, it's you! And Naruto turns around, he sees that, basically, it's the Sand and Cloud Ninja from before. He's like, oh, hey, guys. They're like, I thought you were supposed to not, They're like, we asked about you and you're supposed to be a missing nin. And Naruto's like, shh, keep it down. Can't be telling people about freaking that. He'd just be yelling out, you're a missing nin, Jesus. He's enjoying his ramen. He's like, they're like, why are you in the village? He's like, to enjoy some ramen? I mean, this is the best ramen in the world. And I've traveled most of it. Well, not most of it, but some of it. And, they're basically like, you shouldn't be in here if you're a missing man, you'll probably get killed. He's like, nah, they can't afford to kill me, I'm too valuable for them. Plus, they couldn't do it even if they tried. I'd be gone too fast. Which, they're confused by it. And Naruto holds up a kunai and he's like, you'll figure out later. He's like, he has it around, he has his finger in the ring of the kunai. And he's just holding it like that. Kind of like how Minato does. So, Naruto's like, either way, it doesn't matter too much. He's like, sit down, enjoy some ramen. They're like, alright, He starts eating the ramen, and then they all start talking. The Cloud Ninja explain how they met Naruto. The Sand siblings explain how they met Naruto. And they're like, by the way, you might want to hear about this. What should we call you? He's like, I don't really care. You just say Uchiha or something. Which I'll just say Naruto, but they'll just be calling him like Uchiha or Crimson Fox or some shit. I don't know. Basically, they explain that Orochimaru does a plan on, what's it called? He does a plan on attacking the village, which the Cloud Ninja are surprised about. And they're like, we just wanted to tell you, just so you knew, since it's a favor. Since this is your old village, we don't know if you care about it or want to help him. He's like, no, I care deeply about this village, so I'll probably be helping. So basically, they explain what the plan was for Gar to go crazy, and Gar does look down in shame by the fact that, they wanted him to go crazy. Then Naruto does, explain, don't worry, you're not a monster, you were affected by the Shukaku, it's not your fault. So, they explain the whole plan of the attack and how Orochimaru will fight the Hokage, apparently with their father, which is weird because their father has been acting strange. He does look over to them. He's like, Orochimaru steals bodies, right? They're like, yeah. He's like, if your father is acting abnormal, then you don't think that he could have, their face is pale. They're like, no, he couldn't. Even though, Gaara doesn't really care for his father, nor does Tamari or Kankuro, they're still that's still their dad. So they're like, nah, he couldn't. He would have seen through that, right? He's like, remember, Sanin are at the level of Kage, so it is possible that Orochimaru took his body. Which, if you're wondering how Naruto knows all this, remember, he's been reading books since forever. He's been reading and reading. He's probably a genius. He's legitimately a genius. He knows a lot about the ninja world. Through his books, through his studies, through Kuruma, or Kuruma. Which, the Naruto is like, that is a very, smart thought. But, they're just trying to think through ways that they could, come out of this on top. Naruto does say that, hey, it is possible that I'm wrong, but most likely, I don't see the Sand, giving up an alliance with the Leaf for no reason, unless they believe that they could attack the Leaf. But even with the power of Orochimaru, with his fresh-made village, I don't see him standing a chance against the Leaf. So he probably used the Sands in order to get in. He looks over to the other, Cloud Ninja. He's like, are you sure that your village has nothing to do with this? They're like, yeah, we just set up an alliance to try to be, peaceful with Konoha. At least to be peaceful, not even an alliance, really. So, Naruto's like, alright. He's thinking, he's like, alright, I have a plan. And that's where I'm gonna end this off, guys. Yeah. Cliffhanger time. Haha. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. If you do, please hit that like button. Alright, and maybe, if you're new to this, drop a sub, give your boy a sub. I'd appreciate it, really. I did sort of write a script for this. Not really, it's like a semi-script to where, I'll learn what I need to on what I'll basically have a basic gist of what I want to do. So basically, yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this, please do, hit the like button. If you didn't, sorry. You can dislike if you want. It's fine. It just hurts my soul a little bit. But yeah, like I said before, check out my Twitter, cause I set that up. I'll probably put it in the description. Also my Discord, yeah. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.